Hi guys and welcome to another review. Today we're looking at what is the favorite generation of the 911 for many Porsche enthusiasts, and it's also one of the last true mechanical 911s ever built. So this right here is a 997 generation Porsche 911 Carrera 2S. More specifically, it is the 997.2, which is the mid-cycle refresh model. So you can differentiate it from the 997.1 at first glance by the lights and also the interiors. Now, a huge thanks to Project 11 UAE for providing us with this car. Project 11 UAE is a specialist Porsche garage which specializes in the tuning, service and restoration of Porsche vehicles. The link to their Instagram is in the description below. So after the 996, which had a few reliability issues and also the controversial styling with those fried egg headlamps, the 997 represented the return to form, to the true traditional 911 aesthetics, like these round headlamps here at the front. And also the redesigned interiors on the 997 look far better and less dated than the interiors of the 996. Now coming to the engines, so while the 997.1 cars had the famous Mesger engine known for its racing heritage, the 997.2 cars come with the new DFI or direct fuel injection engines aimed at increasing performance and fuel efficiency. So it's a 3.8 litre NA flat 6 water cooled engine producing 385 horsepower and 420 Newton meters of torque. Now this car has a modified sport exhaust system, so along with that it adds about 25 more horsepower than the stock version. So we're looking at 410 horsepower and 420 Newton meters of torque for this car right here. And from the 996 generation onwards, we have the water-cooled engines. So before that, it was the air-cooled era. And coming to the transmission, this car has the 7-speed PDK, which is Porsche's dual-clutch transmission. So this replaced the earlier Tiptronic in the 997.1 generation for faster shifts. And there's also an optional 6-speed manual available as well. So now let's talk exterior styling on the 997. So originally when Ferdinand Alexander Porsche designed the 911, he always said this: a kid should be able to see the Porsche and draw it on a piece of paper. So that's how simple the design really is. And even today it looks fresh among the modern supercars and like Ferraris and Lamborghinis when you go to a supercar showroom. And these two round headlamps are a significant design trait of any 911. You can even see it on the current 991s and 992s. And as this design trait has been passed from generation to generation, it has been refined even more and more. And now we're looking at the 997 and still it doesn't look outdated. So this car is finished in a very interesting shade of Meissen Blue. So this is a heritage Porsche color. It dates back to the 356A, almost 60 years back. It's a $10,000 option. Yeah, keep that in mind. But if you're a Porsche enthusiast and you're willing to spend for it, it's a really good color. Now coming to the side profile of the 911. This is from where you actually get to understand the 911 identity, that traditional 911 silhouette, with the sloping roofline. This is what it is, it's from here you can actually understand, even in the dark, that this is a 911. So let's start with the wheels. So these are the 19-inch Carrera Sport wheels. Like I said, this is the Carrera 2S variant, and it's also painted in black. It looks really good. And overall from the side, if you can notice, this car sits slightly lower than a regular Carrera because it has been lowered a bit. It's a custom modification. And also the brake rotors are larger on this. They have been taken from the 911 Turbo. So the regular Carreras have smaller brake rotors. I don't know if you can see it very clearly from here, but I will put a close-up of it in the wheel shot. Another way to differentiate a regular Carrera from the Turbo model is that the Turbo models have large air intakes at the back, so you have the wide body for them, whereas the base Carrera doesn't have that. But nowadays on the 992 generation, like all the models have wide bodies, so that's kind of a bad thing Porsche did. They could have just kept that differentiation still intact. Now coming to the rear profile of the 911. It looks really good. Like, it's a very nice rear end to look at. So here we have the LED tail lights from the 997.2 generation. So the previous 997.1 cars had non-LED tail lights. Then the 911 is a rear engine car, so we have the engine here in the back, the DFI engine. And since you have the engine at the back, you store your groceries in the front, inside the frunk, which is quite decently spacious. And as we come below, we do get the optional sport exhaust system on this 911. But the owner has done a few modifications to it. For example, he has done a catalytic converted lead and also changed the headers. So it produces 25 more horsepower than the stock Carrera S. So we're talking 410 horsepower, like I said earlier. So yeah, quite a few tasteful modifications done to this car. Even the color is custom, like I said. So yeah, looks really good to look at. Now let's talk about the interiors of the 997. It still looks modern, doesn't look dated at all, unlike the 996, like I said earlier. And everything is just exactly where you want it to be it the PDK transmission lever, your handbrake, everything is just exactly where it needs to be. And German engineering, it's really well done. So let's start with the interior color option. So this is the Carrera red, but a few parts have been changed to black as per the owner's requirement. So the PDK transmission lever, the handbrake, and even the seats have been changed to the Porsche Heritage seats. They have a special name, I'll put them down below. Now, except the GT cars like the GT3 and GT2, all 911s do have rear seats as well. But in this car, however, they have been removed, so there are no rear seats behind. But yeah, the front seats are really comfortable, and the bolstering is really good. They're very comfortable seats. So this car does have the Sport Chrono package, so you have your stopwatch here on top. Then coming below, we have a Porsche communication management, or the PCM screen. It's a 6.5-inch infotainment screen. No Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Yeah, this is a car from 2010, so it doesn't have that unless you retrofit it. Then we have our AC vents and your hazard button, central locking, all your usual stuff. And this car does have the telephone module, so you can put your SIM card here to make crystal clear calls. Very good thing, a very quirky feature of the 911. And all the buttons, they have a very perfect damping to them and crystal clear to read, very easy to use. Then you have your temperature toggle right here, your AC fan speed toggle. Then here below we have our Sport Plus. This I believe is the PASM button, Porsche Active Suspension Management. You do have your vehicle lift option, and also the Sport exhaust system, whose valves can be opened and closed using this button right here. Then here we have our PDK transmission lever, so finished in black. You have park, reverse, neutral, drive, and your manual mode. You do have paddle shifters behind the wheel as well. Then again, this is the last 911 to have the manual handbrake. So you have your handbrake right here with the Porsche written on it. Looks really good. Here we have a small tray, so you can keep, I guess, a few coins here, and you have a cigarette lighter as well. Then the center console. Here we have aux, USB, and iPod connectivity options. And another cool, quirky feature is this coin holders. That's again a thing unique to the 997. So it's a really good touch. Along with, so you have your sunroof here on the top, the buttons for which are located here. You have your lights as well. And coming to the steering wheel, it's not your usual 997 steering wheel. This is from the modern Porsches, so it's been custom fitted on this particular car. Even the buttons have been wired to work with this car's PCM screen. And here in the center we have our 5 analog dials for the 911. Very crystal clear and easy to read. Preferably these are the best ones. Even in the modern 992s, they still keep the tachometer at least analog. So it's always a unique identity of a Porsche to have these analog dials. Very simple and easy to read. And another thing which you might not notice at first is that these hidden storage bins, which are located here under the armrest, really useful. And the buttons, the placement of buttons also are really clever. Typical German things. So for example, your window controls, you have the buttons for them right here. So these toggle switches to up and down the windows. Even the mirror controls next to the mirrors, you have them to easily adjust them. Really nice. And this car also does have the optional Bose sound system, but the subwoofers have been removed to reduce weight, as the owner does track the car occasionally. And even the cup holders, you don't have them here in the central console. Instead, we have this small button right here, which if we click, we get our cup holders. So you can open one of them, close it. You can also open the other one of them. So click this button and they pop out, so you can hold your drinks. It's a very innovative German thing to do. I hope you enjoyed watching this review as much as I enjoyed filming it. And if you want to see more cool cars like this, hit that subscribe button, share this video with your friends and family, and let us know in the comments box which car you would like to see next on this channel. Once again, stay safe, have a great day, and goodbye.